because we want progress. We want to live, we want better living condition. We want our community to be able to enhance us with employment and, to support us, even the needy and the less fortunate, because the scripture, the reason why Victor Roberts called me Brother Young is because I believe in the Bible and in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And, as a practicing Christian, I believe that we should live in unity, in love, and in betterment. Life is about development, moving forward. There are those of you who I'm speaking to who have children, even grandchildren, and you want to have a bright future for them. You don't want to live in poverty and in lack and in stagnancy and barrenness, years upon years, because we are accustomed to that. We know what that. Though we might be driving a nice little car, we might have a nice little house, but we can't forget where we come from, and we want to be able to move forward, not only for ourselves, but for the younger generation. Correct. So, Labre, I believe, the problem in Labre is that we feel that another administration beside the PNM can't help. And we need to change that mindset. We need to put our mindset back, because if we want to really move forward, and if we want to change to take place in Labre, we have to believe in what we have and what is available to us. And if whatever political party, I'm not supporting politics, I supporting change. It's not about political party, it's about a better life for myself and for everybody of Labre and by extension, Trinidad and Tobago. So it's not really we are UNC. And anyway, see Victor, what David Young Day supporting UNC is that I want betterment, because as I say and I will say again, life is about change. So Labre problem is that we have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe that we can make it work, because it only taken our vote to bring about change. It doesn't cost any money, it doesn't cost any land or your house. It's just by the tip of your finger, you can make a decision to bring about change. Though we know that the present and the former administration might have made mistakes, but the present has making I feel maybe even more. So if we saying we want change, and what we have available to us is not bringing change, then we have to look in a different direction where change is available and make the necessary step, take the necessary stand and step to bring about that change. So without any further ado, I don't think I should go on to speak any further, because I mean to say is hitting the nail on the head, is getting to the point. Labre, we need to wake up. We need to believe that we can make it work. Nobody outside Labre can fix Labre. It's we who in Labre have to fix Labre. And that could only happen when the appointed time come and we call upon you to take the necessary stand and make that change, take that step, make the decision, because you could only gain, you can't lose. Because if you don't have nothing and you want something, then taking that stand, it's worth it, because if what you have is not enough, and you're seeing that there's a brighter light, or a different level where you can avenue to get, and to get in an honest way, then we need to work together, come together as a one people, stop the division, the segregation, and let we come together as one people and be a driving force, because unity is a driving force, it's a force to reckon with. So Labre, we in 2022, we know that things not looking the way we expected to be from last election to now. We had thought that after the last general election, we wouldn't be in this condition. And it looked like it get worse. And if we continue to just sit down and say, well, I ain't voting, I ain't supporting no political party, then we go continue to stay how we is. Or how we are, we go continue to stay on this level. So let me wake up, let me come together, let me hold up our heads together and move forward, regardless of who is the candidate, regardless of what might say about him, but let me believe that we can make it work. So I thank you for the opportunity and the privilege, Victor Roberts, to share, and may God continue to bless Labre and by extension Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, Victor Roberts.
Thank you. So there you have it, a stalwart individual from Labre who stand and fight the battle. Now, I am saying that so far we are not on YouTube. There's a bit, we up on YouTube now? Right, so we inside YouTube now. So I know people was calling. So we inside YouTube now, so you all can log on and have things running. So thank you, David Young. David Young is a hard worker in the Palo Seco area, and he's one who stand, as he rightly put it, stand in the ways of the Lord, and he stand for truth, fairness, justice, and he's now seeking equity. Okay, that is what he's seeking, equity. Equal distribution throughout the country, throughout the Twin Island, in relation to the resources that is available. You see, for too long in this country, we have had nepotism. We have had the people who we trust to bring about change in Labre. We have allowed these individuals to use us. We could go as far back as A.C. Alexis. Even when A.C. Alexis was an independent candidate. And A.C. Alexis won as an independent. And even though winning St. Patrick as an independent, where we would have expected that the attitude and the vision that allowed A.C. Alexis to win St. Patrick, we would have believed that that vision would have been extended even when he met Eric Williams' family, who became his wife. And we would have believed that coming into the political arena, where in that instant it was not the party, but it was really the people who have selected and voted and put you there to do a job, where you would have been able to advocate and to bring about betterment. We have seen that went through the window. And shortly after, we had Ian Anthony. Ian Anthony, you're all supposed to know Ian Anthony, you know. If you don't know who is Ian Anthony, you could probably go to the Monrepo police station and ask to see the station diary back then, when Ian Anthony was a member of parliament. And you will have a clear picture who is Ian Anthony. All right? And that brings me to another point. You see, it seems as though this thing is catching in the PNM, you know, because I am now seeing a former radio host and a senator name jumping up in allegedly paying $500 for young boys. You know, this thing seems to be catching, but move, Rowley, move, let me pass. It seems to be catching. So if you don't know who is Ian Anthony, you could go to the Monrepo police station and you will have a clear example. But from where I sit, I will tell you that Ian Anthony was a member of parliament in the constituency of Labre. And I will also tell you that Ian Anthony used to be under my parents' house, where the PNM party group was formulated by my dad. My daddy, yeah. And after Ian Anthony, we have had the opportunity to have my good colleague from Siparia, name just seemed to go on from me in night, Albert Richards. So we have had Albert Richards coming in for the NAR after 30 straight years of PNM rule in the constituency of Labray, we have had Albert Richards coming in for the NAR. And after the NAR, we have had Hedridge Barrow coming in for the PNM. And then, of course, the list goes on. We had Fitzgerald, Jeffrey, we had Nicole Olivieri, now we have Caspar McClashy. Caspar McClashy we have now. And I think that Caspar is a very, very good name. And I'll tell you why. The man is so friendly and so quiet and so invisible that you could only call him the friendly ghost. But be that as it may, as we warm things up here this evening, I think that Young had sent home the ideal point. And the point that Young have sent home is that Labray must want change. You must want change, Labray. You must not be looking out for. You must not be looking up to. You must be looking for betterment in Labray. And it's unfortunate that we have allowed ourselves to deteriorate to the point where it seems as there is almost no return. Almost no return. When we look at the constituency of Labray, when we look at the geographical location of Labray, when we look at the ethnic composition of Labray, we, the people in Labray, should have been to the top of the ladder. And why should we have been to the top of the ladder? We should have been there because of the resources that we produce in Labray. We have produced in Labray. I am speaking about economical stability is one of the things that we produce in Labray. We have produced asphalt. We have produced oil sand. We have produced gas. We have produced oil. We have produced everything that you could think about. We have produced it in Labray. But why Labray is still in this state?
40% of the oil wells in Trinidad is from Labray. The other 40% is Hyderabad, which is next door.
Next door Labray. But why are we in this position? But why are we in this condition? So if we are saying 40% of the oil wells is in Labray, 40% is our neighbor Faizabad, and 20% probably split up elsewhere. The problem is why we are in this condition in Labray when the first oil well was drilled in Labray. The first. And if the first oil well was drilled in Labray, we have put Trinidad and Tobago on a solid footing. But why are we in this condition? So let me help you out. We are in this condition because of you, the people of Labray. We are in this condition because you have seen what is not there. We are in this condition because you have allowed yourself to be manipulated, to be lied to be deceived, to be used by those who you believe represent, those who you believe are your people, those who you believe have your interests at heart. You see, if the people that represent Labre over the years from central government, if those individuals you believe that they have your interests at heart, let me tell you something. I think that you have no heart. I think that you have to believe that these bunch of your people, as you call them, right across in Palo Seco Junction where we are, 2 buildings away, 3, and you will meet the beach road. Just obliquely opposite the bar, you will find, you listening? The Chinese grocery. Why not in the center of the constituency on this side? You could find the Chinese grocery. But why I couldn't see a sign mark the African grocery? Let me tell you why. You will never, ever see the African grocery in Palo Seco, in Santa Flora, in Quarry, in Rancho, in Losiro, in Erin. You will never see the African super grocery. But yet still, on every occasion, you have selected the African P&M to represent you. Nowhere in Labre would I see the sign of the African contractor. Nowhere in Labre would I see an excavator, a lowboy, a backhoe, some trucks, some 5 or 10 ton rollers, and a big sign mark the African man contractor. You want to know where I'm going with this? I comment there just now. Hold on. And by the way, we will be closing at 8:30 this afternoon. Let me just put that in the mix one time. So you'll pay attention now. And don't wait for the later half. But why we would not see that? Why it doesn't exist in Labre after Labre have been governed for 47 plus years? And even under Albert Richards in 1986, by the African man, by the African man. See, I'm dealing with Labre, and we go in Labre and Palo Seco. You will never ever see going forward under Keith Rowley or others who jumping up with a boa stick all in Tobago and telling me about if your car play, don't what? If your car breaks, don't play. And putting on all kind of funny suit because the funny season is here. And walking all over Arima and telling me that we are going to put Lord Kitchener. And we're going to change the names of the streets. Miss Beckers, the problem in this country is not the names of the street. The problem in this country is you and the PNM. The problem in this country, Miss Beckers, is that you guys have never put in place any such mechanism to allow the same people who you folks abuse and use every time an election bell is rang to support you. You have not put any mechanism in place to help them to put that sign as the African ghostry and the African contractor. But yet, yesterday, you dress up in your African wear. You dress up in your traditional African suits. And you raise your fists and you said that we are emancipated. It seems as though that you are constipated. You lift your hands strong and say freedom, freedom, but yet still while you will shout freedom, I am seeing that you are still in captivity. You say that you are free, but yet to the end of the day, while you dress up in your fancy African suits, you so wicked to yourselves that you would not even support the black businesses in this country. You show off your price smart card. You want to drink coffee, but you want to go by Ray Charles. You want to eat, but you want to go by TGI Friday, forgetting the black man on Saturday. You want to dress, but you run to the cereal store to buy the same cloth to make your African outfit. Oh, you wicked people. I say it as it is. It matters not. You could vex with the message and the messenger. It matters not, because I am here for a few days. And after I'm gone, it is Omar Joshua Shinil and the rest to fight up with the evil that the PNM have put in place to keep you who believe that you are free. But yet you are in captivity. You have nothing. Today I and Joshua went in search of some items. And Joshua was saying to me, Daddy, look at that house. Daddy, look at that one. Daddy, look at that. And I am particularly driving to see if I could find an African business place to buy the part for my van. And I drive from Palo Seco to San Fernando, back to Barapo, down to Penals. And guess what? Not Penal Dubal, you know, Penal DB. And you know what? I just couldn't see that sign, that mark the African parts place. Who you will blame? Well, let me tell you who to blame. Blame the P&M. I know some wicked devils will say to you that the African man ain't want nothing. Well, I rebuke that lie. I rebuke that wicked thought. Some will tell you that the Africans in this country do not want anything. What a blatant lie. A matter of fact, what a blatant disrespect. This government, your government, the government that you have placed your trust, they are the ones that have you in that condition, Labre. They are the ones that have you believing that someone else is your enemy. Today, Joshua was asking me, Daddy, you know, in school, I have Indian friends. In school, I have African friends. And all are we good? He said, I mean, sometimes the Indian friends just treat me better. But all are we good? And I said to Joshua, I said, son, and I'll forget this important part. He said, so I can see why every time we had to vote, we hearing this and Indian and African and Indian. Why we hearing that? I said, Joshua, that is what they utilize to keep the two races fighting against each other while they benefit from the public purse. That is what they utilize. You see, one of the key to dictatorship is to create more poverty and have those depend on the government. So you create poverty and establish dependency. That is one of the key factors that a dictator will use. It was utilized, confirmed, and worked in Venezuela. It is now being tried out here. And it seems as though that we would allow the government to succeed, because when you are now dependent on the government, what it does to you is to silence your voice. Because when the government creates poverty and establish dependency, it puts you in a position where you cannot talk, because if you speak, you can't eat. Pay attention. If you speak, you can't eat. So what it does, it allows you to conform and to transform your mind into the whim and fancy, or for a better word, the doctrines of those in authority. Because when you cannot speak, you allow the tyrant to establish a bold face. And that is what we have been seeing over the past couple of years. A bold face approach, whether you like it or not. And if you speak, then you are quiet by the tyrant action. So Rowley said, I will pay you, but you will lose your job. Remember that statement? Remember that statement? When Roger and them was making noise for money, Rowley said, okay, I will pay you, but all you will lose all your job. Where is Petrotrin? Where is Petrotrin? So the whole ideology is to create mass poverty. Where is TSTT? Where is the port workers? Where are those service companies in Point Lisas? Where are Forest Reserve? Where is Trinma? And very soon you will be saying, where is WASA? T&Tech standby. So when you create this mass unemployment that creates poverty, and then the government comes on the other hand and start to institute packages to assist in the form of handouts, you better be quiet. Because if you speak, from this, PNM have put together a plan, just as Willie Lynch had put together a plan to break a slave, to have a slave to obey. And if you don't believe me, you must look into the book, The Making of a Slave by Willie Lynch. This is the book will continue to remain under the poverty level, but yet supports the PNM who continue to break you. They have allowed you to look at your brother as the enemy. They have allowed us to shoot each other. They have allowed us to murder our own. But yesterday, you say you are free. That's what you said. But while you were saying that you are free, your brothers were being murdered last night. But you were saying that you are free. Free from what? Free from who? People, open your eyes. When I speak to you, I bring the message so that you can think and you can dissect it. Too much a big word, dissect what? You could open up the message, look into it, and see what is happening to you. This is the future. This is the future that has already been set by the past. And that is why, as we go forward in Labre, the constituency continue to get worse and worse and worse with no betterment. You know why? Because of your mental thinking. Because of the seed that Eric Useless Williams have implanted in your mind, that you are now at the place where you does not care what future your children and your grandchildren will have once you can eat. You are eating the birthright of your children. You are eating the womb of your children. You are eating the life and the livelihood of the future generation when you support corruption, when you support nepotism, and when you support Keith Rowley, Penelope Beckers, Brian Manning, Stuart Young, Faris Al-Wari, Kazim Hussein, and the whole team. People, this is not about Victor Roberts. I am just the messenger, the humble, poor, understanding boy from this ghetto, from the streets, from Palo Seco, from Santa Flora, from Erin, from Los Bajo, from Quarry, from Rancho Quemado. I am just the man with the message to open your eyes so that you can see where you are going. You can see where your party have brought you, and you can see what your party will do to the future generation even before the future reach. It matters not whether you want to vote for me or not. If I decide to go back into the ring, that doesn't matter. That would not change what you are experiencing by the party that you support. You are in a place where you know that you are beggars. You are the place where you know when you take $1 out the bank, you cannot put it back, even though you promise to put it back when the next paycheck reach. The central bank have established and put a bulletin where people of this country, they are living paycheck to paycheck. And very soon, when Rowley finish with his unemployment plan, is the first government I see in the history of this country have an unemployment plan, a plan to reduce employment by 90%. First government. When that government finish with you, I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, who ain't already wearing clothes with holes in it? Who ain't already wearing clothes with holes in it? Will very well have no clothes so that people can see the holes in the clothes. Go before the wardrobe now. Go before the wardrobe and examine yourself and see if you have one clothes with hole in it. You check it out. If you watch the jersey and the pants and you ain't see no hole, you check it out. Check it out. Some of you walk the streets and you are praying that you doesn't fall sick, because when the paramedics pick you up, if they should take off your shoes, they will realize that all you are wearing is a sock sleeve. No socks to the bottom, just the sleeve around your foot. Some of you afraid to fall down because if the doctor have to cut your clothes off, the doctor may believe it's rats, rodents that pass, but it's not rodents, it's the PNM that is passing. Eating your future away. How many of you plan to buy 2 pieces of board, a plyboard sheet, to block the weather that blowing in on you? Today, you know what you're using? You're using piece of polythene. And in some case, when you cannot afford the polythene, you buy garbage bags and open them and stick them up with masking tape, not to get wet in the night. You know what is that? That is the P&M passing by you. Why would you allow yourself, Trinbangonians? Why would you allow yourself to be deceived, to be used, to be manipulated, simply because I resemble you? Simply because my head bore like yours? Simply because my chest broad? Labre, you have proven yourself over the years to be a people who glory in deceit and deception, a people who glory in hardship. And yesterday, when I went to Marabella, in that function, I choose to wear a dhoti. If you don't understand what is that, an Indian garment. And I saw some Africans who were looking at me mighty strange. Probably saying in their minds, what kind of disrespect is this? But it wasn't disrespect, my people. It was to send a message so that all of us can accept each other for who we are. That Indian wear was to send a message that we must accept each other for who we are. All of us cross the high seas to come here. Whether in chain and shackles, or whether with cutlass and forks, all of us cross the high seas to come here. It matters not what was the agenda. So why on Emancipation Day I have to come with a traditional wear, and my Indian brother have to put on the same African traditional wear to attend that function? I am saying that you must come with your traditional wear, whether it be a sari and a dhoti or an African pants and shirt. Come as you are. We must accept and welcome each other for who we are. That is what being free is about. It is not being free and telling my Indian brother, if you're coming in my African function, you better find a dashiki. That is not being free. And let me put you on notice, my Indian brothers. Let me put you on notice. When you invite me, Diwali, and I choose to put on my traditional African wear, you could put me out when I reach. Put me out when I reach, or do invite me. Because it is not about the African being free. It must be about Trinidad and Tobago being free from political victimization, from political nepotism, from political geographical discrimination. It must be we are all free. That is what the message must be. And that is why I put on that wear willfully. Some of my brothers refuse to even acknowledge me because of my wear. But that don't matter. That doesn't matter. It shows that you are still in chains. That is what it shows. And until Labre decide to free itself from political shackles, is until we will remain in this condition. Labre must free their self, their minds, their body, and their voting finger from slavery. You have voted yourself into slavery. You have voted yourself into mental slavery. You see, I have some visions for Labre. Some of those visions you cannot take now because your mind have not yet been transformed into productivity. Your minds have not yet reached there. You don't want to be productive. Productivity comes with strength and mind and condition. You see, productivity. Yeah, it happens. It happens to me with some words. Productivity come with a condition of your mind. Change come with a condition of your mind. And in order to bring about change, Labre, you have to be strong. You have to be productive. You have to remove that selfishness from within the precincts of your mind. Your enemy has always been the PNM. Your enemy has always been those who they send to represent you. Your enemy was always those weak MPs who could have not stood up and who will not stand up to their political leader with his arrogance, his stupidity, and his dotish ideology. They're too weak. So they rather ain't say anything because they want to be in the good book. Because your leader said that if they go out and expose them, that they will be destroyed politically. That is what your leader said. They are the Cosa Nostra. They keep each other secret. And if they break rank and go out and speak about fake oil, they will end up like Nicole Olivier. If they go out and speak about that committee that Rowley had put forward under the pandemic, the way the committee to determine the future, if they disagree, they will end up like Waterman, previous waterman. Lee Hunt. They will end up like Lee Hunt. And if you speak hard enough, Samaru, you go end up. And I know all you know who is Samaru. Samaru is the officer who had revealed those children playing with pa, 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 pa. And you know what? When they asked Faris Alwari, what he say, he children or not he children? Only ask him now, ask him who children it was that caused Officer Samaru to be shot in his head. And if they didn't get the guns, allegedly down in the barracks, Tetran or wherever, Camp Kumoto or wherever, I want to ask Damian Ling if he used to lend out at the 27, because he a big catchment on the papers and all the pretty. I see some chrome. I see some, the real cold steel metal. I see them in all form and fashion. I see some long one, I see some short one. I see some big one, I see some small one. I see gun like his gunman out of style. One man. 27 plus the one where he any partner. That's about 28. And you know what? I see Stuart Young, I see Fares, I see Rowley, I see everybody look like they the partner. I see some of them bouncing shoulder by excavator. I know if they counting the cash, or I know if they want the excavator to dig up or bury. I know. I see some of them lean up, hug up, dress up. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, people. All you have to examine them fellas and them bathing every day. And I want to tell you, it can't be water because we have no water in the pipe. It can't be water because the waterman say he never know that if pipe has leak, it will stop the pressure from going up a hill. And then the prime minister say, you see the kind of men who I appoint to put in charge of WASA, men who know nothing about WASA. And you know what? You know all the clap? You know all the clap? All you clap, all you enjoy that. And that is something that all you have to live with. I see Rowley tell earlier, every school is built by the government. Every church is built by the government. Every this and every that is built by the government. Well, all you better be prepared to wean off the government. And I hear the boy, they clap. You know, it's only when I reach home, I realize that these people didn't understand what the meaning of the word wean mean. Them tell themselves, Rowley trying to tell them, well, when they hear wean, that they will win something, that they will win some kind of sweepstake or some kind of thing. Them ain't know what Rowley just tell them is nothing for you. The government not going to give all you nothing. You don't believe me? Prison officers right now saying they don't know what will be the next step because they went into the meeting this week with enthusiasm, but yet the chief personnel officer said nothing more than 4%. Police, nothing more than 4%. Nothing more. So I didn't understand what's going on. I don't know if all you're just in understanding what they're doing earlier. I don't know if all you're in understanding what they're telling earlier. I don't know if they have all in a chance or they have all in a pants. I don't know. All you have to decide, library, All you have to decide the way forward. The opportunities before you guys. The way forward would be coming. It is if you people want to move forward or you want to remain in the doldrums of Trinidad and Tobago. Just imagine. In the whole of Trinidad and Tobago, you could boast. You drill the first oil well, you have pitch, you have oil sand, you have redstone, you have gas, you have oil. We used to make pitch oil, bitumen, lake asphalt. We had everything going for us. Big estate, we had PSCL down here. You remember we had a big estate down here? All you remember the dairy, we used to go there and milk coming out from the cow, resting a hose, and before it could go there, we getting something to drink. That's why we strong, so. That's why we big and powerful, so down here. And don't talk about the women. Don't talk about the women. Some man says you oil in the coil that them looking so. Is we are women looking so because we don't mind them. Ouch. No oil, no coil, no. We don't mind we women down here in Laborie. I don't know for other parts. But guess what? We had all these. We had a carpenter shop right in Beach Camp. People used to come and build the best set of furniture. We had an apprentice program in Petrotrin that produced drillers, petroleum engineers, well attendants, gaugers, everything. We born, but the lady bone for Laborie. And you know what? People fighting like dog for that bone. They blaming everybody to get that bone. They never give UNC a chance. Never. Not local, not general, nothing. But you know, when these people realize that they have nothing, that is the highest level of stupidity. That is the depth of the brainwash in people in this Laborie constituency. But I want to tell you tonight that all is not lost. All is not lost. If you had the strength, if you had the mindset to retrieve, forget all them words again. If you had the in Laborie. The mindset, get it back. Let me tell you what is existing. It still has some oil in the ground. It still has some gas in the ground. It still has some pitch in the ground. It still has some land to cultivate. It still have a deep water harbor in Laborie. It still have some buildings that closed down that can be reintroduced and set up. And it still has some money in the treasury. They ain't fall yet. I give you a hint. I just give you a hint, you know, those of you who are eyes to see will just see what I say. The best land, we have it. We can diversify. We can make agriculture in this constituency of Laborie a